Hi everyone, Lori here of Art Lava Studio. Here's a quick tutorial on how to cover your A7 size boards. So I've already made a template, and what I do is I just put this on any paper and trace and cut. This is just an old newsletter, I think from an exhibit from Bangkok Design Week, and I've just added my own stencil. So this is the template which I trace on that sheet, and then I cut, and you flip it over and trace your board inside. So make sure you leave an equal amount of space all around. So this is how it will look like when it's done. Right, just eyeball it. Maybe around, it's about 1.5 cm all around. And you can trace. So make sure that when you lay down your board, it's in the same way. So mark the top right with a check mark or a circle. It's up to you, but make sure you mark. So when you lay it down, it's in the same place. Right? Because sometimes if you turn it around, then it won't match. So that looks about right. Now what you need to do is extend that line so you can see that square in every corner. That's approximately, because we will need to trim this corner in order to fold it later. Right? You have to consider the thickness of the board. So now you can see the thickness of the board kind of goes here. Right, so what you need to do is cut a little bit further out. So make sure you're cutting a triangle. Right, that's the height of the board. So you're cutting just a little bit above that line, and make sure you have a triangle right there. So do the same thing. If it's too thick, we can just trim it off later. But it's better to have more than too tiny. Okay, so now we've turned it around. We don't know which part is the top, which one, but we did mark it. So we know which way to go back. So top right, top right. Okay, make sure they always match, and now we're ready to glue. Just hold it in your hand. And we start from the center going out. Center going out. And make sure you keep on tilting it so you can see which parts you have missed, because we don't want that to happen, because that's when the bubbles start to happen. There you go. Okay, wipe your fingers on your apron if you're wearing one. Find the top right and top right for the cover. And place it like so. Push gently so it doesn't slide. So once you feel that the contact of the board to the sheet is steady, you can then flip it over. And if you have a rolling pin, this would be ideal. Now that it's perfectly stuck, it's time to glue the sides. And just put a little bit. Make sure you get the edges too. Put a little bit on the board as well. And place it on your table. Wiggle a little bit so you make sure that that edge is well stuck on the paper, and down. Wait a few seconds. Okay, lift, and even though you don't see any glue, it's a good habit to just run your fingers through. Make sure there's nothing left on the table. Okay, and we do the other side. There's still some glue left on the brush, but we need a little bit more. Okay, wipe again to be sure. And do that a few seconds and push down. Wait a few seconds. There we go. Now we do this. We have to tuck this in. This is the corner that we trimmed. Now we have to put the glue first. Make sure you put some in that corner. Tilt and see if you can find the glare to make sure all parts are covered with glue. Now, if you have a bone folder, then you can fold the corner. If not, you can just use a ruler, right? Like this, so you go where that corner is and just turn. Now you have a pretty fold. And do the same thing for the other side. Align the ruler to the edge of the board and just turn. Now you have those tiny flaps. You can cut it because sometimes they do come out when you fold. And some don't, but you can also push that in. Okay, add more glue to both triangles. And do the same thing. Wait a few seconds. And there we are. You can flatten it using a bone folder. And let's do the other side. Make sure you wiggle the brush in there. And move it so you can see with the glare that the glue gives that all parts have been covered with glue. Okay, so we get our ruler again, align the side and just turn. And push down And we do to the other side. I think for me it's easier to hold the book board because it's small enough. So you can align. Here we go. Flatten. Squeeze that tiny triangle. So this is how it should look like. You can trim that, but sometimes you can see the opening after cutting. So I just leave it there. Okay, we need to add a little bit more glue. All sides covered with glue, including the little triangles. And there we go. Push down. Wait a few seconds. If you don't like that thing sticking out, you can just push it in. Okay, just tuck it in. That's why it's better to really cut just above that line where the corner is, and not too far, not too big, so you don't get that little triangle peeping out. And that's what I did with the first one. I cut it off for all corners. And there we are. So these are 2 covers for your A7 size book. Thank you for watching.